Welcome back to Fiction Flux. Today, we're delving into a new what-if adventure, and this time, we're exploring a darker twist. What if Deku found himself in the world of Black Clover? Imagine the one-for-all quirk in a world where magic reigns supreme, and the Clover Kingdom's strongest mages hold the power. Let's not waste any time and dive right in. One for all, 20%. Izuku Midoriya called out as green electricity flew around him. Deku was currently fighting off the League of Villains. They had suddenly launched an attack on UA. The students were forced into combat. The leader of the League of Villains, Shigaraki Tamura, and Kurogiri attacked Izuku. Izuku knew they had some form of plan, so he prepared himself. "I will destroy everything," Shigaraki stated before crumbling everything around him. Izuku began to stumble on the ground he was on. "Kurogiri now," Shigaraki ordered. A portal appeared right under Izuku, and he immediately fell in. Izuku fell for a very long time before the portal finally sent him out. As soon as he fell out, he saw clouds right next to him. Izuku quickly realized something. He was very high up, and he was starting to fall. "Ah!" Izuku let out a cry as he began to fall. He activated One for All throughout his body to prepare for the unavoidable landing. He landed with a loud thud and lost consciousness. Izuku woke up a couple hours later and noticed he was in a bed. He realized someone must have brought him here. His clothes had been taken off, and he was covered in bandages. He looked around and saw his hero costume laying to the side. He got up and quickly put it on. Someone must have fixed his costume, as the fall would have torn apart his costume. He heard some voices outside the room. He decided to leave and thank whoever had healed him. He opened the door and his eyes quickly widened. In the distance sat a giant skull of something with 3 eyes. Izuku knew of no animal with a head that large. "One day, I'll become the Wizard King and make you happy. So, please marry me," Izuku heard a loud voice yell out. Izuku turned and looked at the boy who had yelled. The boy looked to be around 15 years old and had short ash blonde hair. He was rather short as well, but his body was very well built. The boy was talking to a young nun who looked to be in her 20s. She had black hair and a rather slender build. "I'm sorry, Asta, I'm a nun, so," the nun says. The boy named Asta falls to the ground but rapidly standing up. "I'm not done yet," Asta yells out. I'm sorry, but," the nun says. "I'm not giving up yet," Asta yells out. I'm really sorry." "Not yet, not done yet." Izuku could only sweat drop at this rather comedic scene. He noticed the nun suddenly grabbed out a book. Izuku saw her flip through a couple of pages. "Stop pestering me," the nun says as a giant water fist crushes into Asta. Water creation magic, holy fist of love. The nun looks like she regretted hitting Asta. "I'm sorry, Asta. I used my grimoire's magic without thinking," she apologized. Izuku looked at the scene in total confusion. A grimoire? Magic? Wizard King. It was in thought at the back of his head, but considering the circumstances, Izuku didn't think he was in his own world. Asta suddenly rose up from the ground. The nun let out a cute scream. "Not yet," Asta yells out. Izuku decided to let his presence be known. Excuse," Izuku was interrupted by some form of wind magic throwing Asta into the air. "Asta, are you causing trouble for the sister again?" a young girl asked. "How many rejections will it take for you to take a hint?" a young boy asked. "Shut up, brats." Asta then turned towards a tall black-haired boy who stood between the two kids. "And you, why are you getting in the way?" Asta yells at the black-haired boy named Yuno. "Why?" Yuno asks as he himself is surprised to hear Asta ask that. "You're noisy, short, restless and immature. Basically you have no qualities that would appeal to women," Yuno states in a bland tone. "Hey, how could you say that to someone you grew up with for the last 15 years, you cold and handsome jerk," Asta yelled out. "I'll help you, sister," Yuno said as he helped the nun wash clothes with magic. "Thank you, Yuno," the nun said. "Stop ignoring me," Asta called out. Excuse me, Izuku yelled out. The nun, Asta, and Yuno all turned towards Izuku. Hi, I wanted to thank you guys for healing me, Izuku said as he scratched the back of his head. Do you guys know where I am? Izuku asked rather nervously. Yuno looked at Izuku in confusion. Who are you? Yuno asked. The nun ran over to Yuno and whispered into his ear. He's the boy Asta found. His bones were broken, so I healed him. The nun whispered before turning to Izuku. Hi, you are in Hage Village, the nun said to Izuku. Izuku looked at the three in confusion. Hage. He hadn't heard of that name. Hage. What country am I in? Izuku asked. Asta looked at Izuku in disbelief. You don't know which country you're in. You're in the Clover Kingdom, Asta said. Izuku's eyes widened. He hadn't heard Hage or the Clover Kingdom, which means he was most likely in a different world. Asta walked up to Izuku. Man, you really don't know where you are? Asta asked in disbelief. Why, I think I lost my memory, Izuku lied. The nun came up to Izuku. Do you know your name? The nun asked. Yeah, my name is Izuku Midoriya, but you can call me Deku, Izuku stated. Yuno nodded at him. Asta suddenly turned towards Yuno. Yuno, fight me, Asta yelled out. No, Yuno blandly answered. Why not? Asked rather loudly. Deku's ears were starting to hurt. We have the Magic Knight's entrance exam today, you idiot. Yuno's sweat dropped at Asta. The Magic Knight's entrance exam? Deku asked. Yeah, the Magic Knights are skilled magic users who protect the Clover Kingdom, Asta answered. Yeah, if only you had magic, Asta, Yuno said with a slight smirk. A tick appeared on Asta's head. So what, I don't have magic? I'm still gonna pass the test and become the Wizard King, Asta yelled out. You don't have magic? Deku asked in surprise. Yeah, but I do have a grimoire, Asta stated. You don't have magic, but you still want to be Magic Knight. That's some serious cool dedication, Deku said with a slight smile. Asta smiled at Deku's words. Magic Knights. Deku compared them to heroes. They seemed to do almost the same thing after all. Deku wasn't really sure what to do in this world, so it would be a good start for him. Let me take the exam as well, Deku said to Asta and Yuno. Both Asta and Yuno looked at Deku in shock. Do you even have magic? Yuno asked. I don't think so. But I do have a way to fight, Deku said slyly. But why do you want to be a Magic Knight? Asta asked. Deku looked at Asta before saying what first popped up into his head. It's been my dream ever since I was little to save people, to help people. The Magic Knights seem just like those kind of people who help others, Deku stated. Asta gave a wide smile to Deku. That's your dream. That's so cool. Asta then turned to Yuno. Come on, Yuno, let's have him come too, Asta said. Yuno sighed. I guess we can take him with us, Yuno said. But know this, Deku. I will be the one who becomes Wizard King, Yuno states. Asta immediately turned to Yuno. No, I'll be the one who will be the Wizard King, Asta yelled out. Deku let out a small sigh as Asta and Yuno began to banter. They were a lively bunch and were quite energetic. But they were good people, though they did make his ears hurt. Deku, Asta, and Yuno eventually arrived at the Magic Knight's exam venue. A young man sighed. Phew, I'm getting nervous, the man said as a bird landed on his head. A horde of black birds began pecking at a different man. Oh, what the heck is going on with these birds? They're the famous anti-birds of the exam venue. The less magic power you have, the more they peck at you. Hey, look at him. Yuno stood by himself while no birds dared to approach him. Not a single bird is going near him, a man said in amazement. Oh wait, it's him, a man said in realization. The one from the boonies, who was chosen by the four-leaf clover grimoire. Wow, a young girl blushed at Yuno. Yuno stood still with his ever-present stoic face. Heh heh heh. One of us is going to become the Wizard King, Our legend starts here, you know? A loud voice roared out from behind Yuno. What? Become Wizard King. I'll show you the results of my 6 months of try-o-woo-wa. Asta was interrupted as several birds began pecking him and surrounding him. Asta screamed out. What's up with these freaking birds? Asta yelled out as he attempted to run away, but the birds chased after him. Deku sat on the ground behind Asta, also surrounded by birds. One bird in particular had made a nest in his green hair. He had a notebook out, and was writing at incredible speed. Then he began to mumble. Everyone in the venue stared at Asta and Deku and began to laugh. As expected from people from the boonies. Asta continued running before bumping into someone. The birds instantly ran away from Asta. Asta sheepishly apologized. Oh, sorry for bumping into you. The suddenly turned around. You want to die, runt. The man who had devilish look on his face. Asta's face immediately lost all color. What the heck, Asta thought to himself. Who is this guy? He has crazy eyes. The eyes of a murderer. His neck is thick. There's no way he's a mage. Asta could only tremble before his presence. He's got a hell of a presence, Asta thought to himself. Is he really the same age as the rest of us? Deku heard some commotion and turned to see Asta talking to a massive black-haired man. Just be friendly, Asta told himself. Asta started waving his hand. Whoa, you look really old for a kid. You must have gone through such hardship. The man then suddenly grabbed Asta's head. Looks like you're ready to die. Gah, he's just as he seems, Asta cried out. Deku stood up to help Asta before someone ran towards the man. Ah, there you are. Mr. Yami, what are you doing down here? Sheesh. Him. The man named Yami looked towards the blonde individual. I'm about to wring his neck. Yami stated. Please don't. Deku called out to him. Yami looked at Deku. Who are you, Pipsqueak? Mr. Yami, a Magic Knight's leader shouldn't be killing the examinees. The blonde man said. Besides, why are you here down with them? I went to take a shit and got lost. Hey, isn't that? A man said, pointing at the blonde man. Finral Rulacase, a rare spatial magic user. Famous for hitting on women so much that it's a hindrance on his duties. The man looked at Yami. Then he must be the Lord of Destruction, Yami Tsukihiro, the captain of the Black Bulls. The Black Bulls. The cost of damage they cause exceeds their military exploits. That group is full of scoundrels. I hear there's not a decent one among them. That's the one Magic Knight squad I wouldn't want to be in. Deku noticed how much everyone here seemed to gossip. He would be soon to find out. Magic users love to gossip. Thanks for waiting, invited examinees. Several individuals appeared above the venue. Whoa! All of the captains of the Magic Knights together, wow. That's the captain of the Silver Eagles and the Crimson Lion Kings. Deku looked towards them. The captain of the Crimson Lion Kings looked strong. All of the captains looked strong. A man stared at the captains in amazement. Each captain is as strong as 100 mages. And one of them becomes the Wizard King. One of the captains suddenly spoke up. I'm going to be in charge of exams this time. Everyone stared at the captain in amazement. It's the captain of strongest Magic Knights squad, the Golden Dawn. William Vangeance. He's the top candidate to be Wizard King. William suddenly grabbed out his grimoire. Magic tree. Descend. A huge tree suddenly appeared in the middle of the venue. Its branches stretched out to all the examinees, giving everyone a magic broom. William then smirked at everyone. We shall now begin the Magic Knight's entrance exam. We are going to have you go through multiple tests. The 9 captains will be judging your progress. We shall then select the candidates we want in our squads. Those who are not chosen by any captains are judged to lack the talents needed to join the Magic Knights. Deku stared at his hand. This is what I need to do. I need to be chosen, Deku thought to himself. The first test is to fly using those broomsticks. Deku held the broomstick and was lost in thought. I have no grimoire, which means I basically have no magic. Deku thought to himself as the bird on his head began to yawn. Any mage who can control their magic powers can do this instinctively. William stated. A few of the examinees were barely able to fly. This year, Yuno was able to fly on the broom while standing up. We have some good candidates. Meanwhile, Asta couldn't get off the ground a single inch. What going on? A captain asked William. Even with very little magic power, one should be able to float a little. What the heck, man? He's totally not making the cut. Why is he even here? Meanwhile, Deku stood not even attempting to get on the broom. What's with that guy? Is he not even going to attempt to do it? The captains thought to themselves. Deku noticed a shady-looking guy talking to Asta. He knew Asta could probably take care of himself, but he was still a little worried. The next test started. Asta failing at all of them, Deku not even attempting them, and Yuno breaking records. Those three had the most eyes on them. Next is the final test. You will engage in actual combat. You will pair up with someone and fight each other. You may use your grimoire. I'm sure you've mastered 1 or 2 attacks, right? Willem said with a smirk on his face. Deku looked around. Who should I pair up with? Hey peasant, pair up with me. A man with blonde hair stated. Deku took notice of the grimoire in his hand. It had a decent amount of pages. Sure, Deku said. Meanwhile, Asta was fighting against a man named Sek. Now begin, William declared / I'm not going to hold back. Now come and get me Asta, har har, Sek yelled out to him. Bronze creation magic, Sek magnum cannon ball. A barrier surrounded Sek. Sek smirked at Asta. Don't hold back. I'm ready for ya, har. Got it. Here I go, Asta stepped towards Sek. In an instant he was right by Sek. His black grimoire appeared above his head. He grabbed a sword from it. He's fast. William thought to himself. Is he using movement magic? No. Yami said. It's just that. His physical ability is just that good. Asta swung down his sword, instantly crushing Sek's barrier and knocking Sek into the ground. Silence enveloped the venue. What the hell? I'm not here to join the Magic Knights and have a blast without putting in any effort, Asta stated. I'm here to become the Wizard King, Asta declared. Deku smiled. Asta really was really cool. It was soon Deku's turn. His enemy was an arrogant flamboyant type magic user. Deku had no idea how strong this guy was. So he better be careful. Begin, William yelled out. Deku immediately activated full cowl at 15%. Green electricity surrounded his body as the power of One for All enhanced his body. Plants erupted from the arrogant man's grimoire at a high speed. But Deku was faster. Deku ran past all the plants and was immediately in front of his opponent. Deku swung his leg with incredible force at 15%. St. Louis smash, Deku called out as he smashed his leg into his opponent. The crowd gasped as the man was launched out of the venue from the incredible force. Silence enveloped the venue. What was that? William asked in confusion. It was magic, but at the same time it wasn't. Deku wins, William announced. Yami looked at Deku. He didn't try during all of his other tests, but he was able to one-shot a decent magic user. Not only that, he used a power that was magic but wasn't at the same time. Deku and Asta began to happy dance in a circle. We did it, they said together. A black bird landed on Deku's head. What are you, Deku? Yami questioned. St. Louis smash. Deku smashed his leg into his opponent, knocking him out instantly. Deku gave a small smile as William announced him as the winner. He made sure to hold back a bit. What is up with those two? Are those two seriously from the boonies? Next it was Yuno's turn. Begin, William said. Yuno stepped forward with stoic expression. His opponent looked like a cocky noble. I'm going to show you the difference between a boonie like you and me. Wind magic, towering tornado. Yuno sent a gust of wind at his opponent, instantly beating him. Silence covered the venue. He won in a few seconds. Deku looked at Yuno in amazement. Whoa! I knew Yuno was strong, but to think his magic capabilities were that strong. Deku muttered to himself. William gave a slight smile at Yuno. And that ends the examination. Now, each examinee will come forward when their number is called. The squad captains will raise their hands if they wish to have you join their team. William stated. It is up to the examinee to accept or not, and if more than one hand is raised, the examinee may choose which squad to join. William said before narrowing his eyes. And like mentioned before, if no hands are raised, the examinee will not be able to join the Magic Knights. Examinee number 1. Please step forward. Number 32. The Purple Orcas. Number 78. The Crimson Lion Kings. Number 116. No offers. Next. Yuno then stepped forward. Number 164. All of the captains' hands went up. All of the captains raised their hands, someone asked in bewilderment. Asta's mouth dropped to the floor. Deku's respect for Yuno went up even more. Please allow me to join the Golden Dawn. Yuno said as he stared at William. William smirked at Yuno. Yami let out some smoke from his cigarette. Damn, they took a good one. Yami said with a slight sigh. Oh, right, next up is him. Asta stepped forward. No hands were raised. Asta looked down in disappointment. I'm not surprised. Yami suddenly spoke up. No matter how high your combat abilities are, if your powers are suspicious, no one will want you, after all. The most important thing about a magic knight is his or her magical powers. Deku looked annoyed. None of the captains wanted Asta, even with his impressive combat abilities. It seemed even in this world full of magic, inequality was still a major thing. No one wants you because you have no magic. Yami stated. This is the harsh reality, Yami states. Asta looked down. Even so, even without any magic, I'm not going to give up. Asta yelled out as loud as he could. Even if I fail today, no matter how times it takes, I will become the Wizard King. Yami gave a slight smirk. Biwahaha, Yami started laughing. You are definitely interesting. Join the Black Bulls. Yami then turned towards Deku. You as well, green boy. Join the Black Bulls. His face then darkened. By the way, you don't have the right to refuse, he said with a devilish smile. Huh? Deku asked in confusion. He really was just put in a Magic Knight squad by force. Though if he had to guess, the other captains wouldn't have raised their hands for him. I'll give you two such a horrible time in the Black Bulls that you'll be ripped in pieces. Prepare for it, Yami said with dark smile. Deku and Asta nodded at him. Yeah. Soon after the exam ended. Now that it's over, I can finally let it loose, Asta yelled out as he ran into the bathrooms. Deku went over to Yami and Finral. He noticed out of the corner of his eye Yuno leaving the venue. For some reason, all of the blackbirds had flew away except one who had decided to rest in Deku's hair. For whatever reason, it decided Deku's curly hair was its new bed. Deku hoped it didn't view his hair as a bathroom as well. Yami turned to Deku. You've got some nerve making me wait, Yami said before noticing Asta running towards them. You too, how much of a crap did you take? Yami asked. It was seriously epic. It was about this big and it, Yami then grabbed Asta's head. Who asked you to describe your shit, you idiot? Yami then grabbed Deku's head. Finral, let's go. Yes, sir. The blonde magic knight answered. Spatial magic, fallen angel gate. A portal like mist appeared in front of him. Hey, what is tha? Deku wasn't able to finish his question as Yami threw him and Asta through the portal like mist. They fell onto ground that felt like dirt. They looked in front of them and noticed a huge building. So this is the Black Bulls, Deku said to himself. Boom! The door to the building suddenly blew up. Deku and Asta's mouths both dropped to the ground. Okay, now I'm pissed. You ready to get your butt kicked? A man with shades asked. I'm not ready for that, but bring it on, a blonde boy said with an innocent smile. Deku and Asta then noticed a woman in only her bra and underwear. Deku gave a small blush. Ugh, I drank too much. Major headache, she said while scratching her head. Welcome, Yami said from behind Deku and Asta with a big smile. To the absolute worst Magic Knight squad, the Black Bulls, Yami said with a smile. Deku could only stare in disbelief at the scene in front of him. A blonde man had a nosebleed. You're cute as ever, my little sister. Deku got a bad feeling about him. A young black-haired girl was munching on food. The man with the shades was using a bat to hit a ball made of magic. This entire scene was intense. Though starting today, I'm a Black Bull too. Deku thought to himself. I need to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Deku and I'm from Hage Village. It's great to meet all of you, Deku said with a bow. Only for all of the Black Bulls to completely ignore him. An explosion happened right by Yami. That's for my pudding. Stop. My head's killing me. Shut up, you boozing hussy. What was that, you virgin delinquent? I'm not a virgin. In the name of my little sister, who I worship, I will kill you all. Would you people quit breaking stuff? Yami yelled out as he broke a wall behind him. Way to set an example, Deku thought to himself. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Mr. Yami, sir, welcome back. Did anybody get in your face? I'll smash them. Captain, fight me today. Leave these little brats alone and come grab a drink with me. Captain, have a bite of this. I'm sorry. I can't take it anymore. Can I go see my sister? I see, you guys like me that much, Yami said with an innocent smile. But you're annoying. Shut up, Yami said with his usual dark expression. Yami then pointed to Deku and Asta. These shrimps are the other two new members. Don't haze them so much that they die. Other? Deku questioned to himself. Asta stepped forward. I'm Asta from Hage Village. Nice to meet ya, Asta yelled out. Deku then stepped forward. I'm Deku, also from Hage Village, Deku said while bowing. Two boonies. Wow, that's something. We've got other members both there on missions right now. Try to get along with them, Yami said. Deku nodded. Right, we'll get along with them, Deku exclaimed. We'll break the records with how along we get with them, Asta yelled out. Hey, you're from the boonies, right? The woman who was scantily clad asked Deku. She then bent over to make her assets right in front of Deku's face. You're from the boonies and you made it into the Magic Knights. You must have worked hard, kid. How about I reward you with a special treat? Deku's face went entirely red. Deku couldn't make complete sentences. The woman's face suddenly turned green. Deku moved to the left as the woman puked all over the ground. Deku could only grab his head in disbelief. This place was crazy, though it had this atmosphere that made him want to stay. Becoming a Magic Knight was his first step to returning home. This world he had come to was different yet similar to his world. Somehow Kurogiri was able to teleport him to another world. How was he able to do that? His quirk only allowed him to create portals to specific location. Did he know the coordinates of this other world? Would everyone be okay with him gone? Would a world without a user of one for all be safe? Those feelings had been constantly eating away at Deku since he had gotten here. He hadn't thought about it too much. But now that he's able to think to himself, he realized how lost he really was. Was there even a way for him to return him? And even if there was, how would he figure out how? So many unknown variables. For the meantime, Deku would have to be a hero in this world without any. Where that would take him, Deku had no idea. Hey hey hey. Deku heard someone call out to Asta. It was the man wearing shades. His hair was striped with the middle being black while the rest was yellow. A wussy little runt from the back end of nowhere. I don't know how you sucked up to Mr. Yami. But if you want to wear our robe, you gotta earn some respect from me, Mr. Yami's top one underling, man among men, Magnus Swing. The now named Magna stated. Deku noticed the black robe around Magna's neck. So that was a Magic Knight's robe. It did look pretty cool. This one even had the face of a bull on it. Gimme, please, Asta pleaded to Magna. Magna smirked at Asta. I see, I get it. You want it that badly, huh? A dark smile appeared on Magna's face. You joined the Black Bull, so come get baptized. Magna then turned towards Deku. You too, Broccoli Head. The Black Bulls all went outside. Deku looked around nervously. He had no idea what Magna was planning. Magna and Asta stood away from everyone else. I'm about to launch attack magic at you. Block it or avoid it, any way you want. Magna said as he dangled a spare robe in front of Asta. Do that and you're an official Black Bull. Magna stated with a smirk. And I'll give you this robe. A young girl yawned. He's making baptizing ceremonies again. The energetic blonde boy gave an innocent smile. Hey, it's fine. This is fun. Here I come. Ready your grimoire, ya snot-nosed brat. A grimoire appeared before Magna. Asta grabbed his large black sword from his grimoire. Fire suddenly appeared in Magna's hand. It formed into a small ball. Flame magic, exploding fireball. Magna threw the ball of fire. Die, Magna screamed out. Die, Deku asked himself. I have heard that line before. The fireball barreled towards Asta like a high-speed baseball. Asta then swung his sword like a baseball bat at the fireball. And sent the fireball straight back at Magna. Boom. It was a direct hit. Deku's eyes widened. His sword seemed to be able to cut through magic, and the flat side of his sword can repel it. He was an anti-magic Magic Knight. You little runt. Magna suddenly said as his body was covered in smoke. I was this close to getting offed by my own magic. You. Asta looked at him in shock. A bright smile suddenly appeared on his face. You. Completely rocked. Huh? Asta asked. Magna gave him a slap on the back. You didn't just block it, you sent it right back. I like you short sta. It's Asta. Deku couldn't help but smile at him. In the small time he had known Asta, he had noticed it wasn't often Asta got praised. It made him happy to see Asta getting praised. Here. Magna then handed Asta the Black Bull's robe. This is yours. Asta blushed in happiness. Hey, now it's my turn. The energetic blonde boy said with an innocent smile. Magna turned towards him. Oh, right, Luck, you want to test the other guy, right? Magna said to the blonde boy now named Luck. Yeah, Luck turned and gave Deku an innocent smile. Let's fight to the death. Deku's face immediately paled. Fight to the death? Deku asked in shock. Magna sighed. No, not to the death. Luck just wants to see your combat abilities. Magna then turned to Luck. You better hold back, Luck. Luck just waved his hand at Magna. The Black Bulls turned to Deku. They did want to see Deku's fighting capabilities. They didn't feel any magic from him either. Deku walked towards Luck. Well, if that is what it takes. Deku then activated full cowl at 5%. Lighting surrounded Luck as he sticked his tongue out. He suddenly disappeared. Deku ducked to dodge a strike from behind. He instantly twisted his body and slammed his right fist at Luck's face. Luck was able to dodge it, however. He's faster than me at 5%. Deku thought to himself. I gotta go up a bit more then. Green electricity surrounded his body more intensely. One for all, 10%. Whoa, you can use lighting too? Luck asked in a childlike voice. Lighting surrounded Luck's arm. His right arm turned into a blue claw made of lightning. He disappeared again. However, this time Deku was able to keep track of him. Deku jumped into the air. He activated One for All at 20% in one arm and punched the air. The force behind the punch propelled, making him dodge a lightning strike. Thanks to the extra movement, Deku was right next to Luck. Detroit Smash. Deku attempted to punch Luck, but Luck suddenly disappeared again. This time at an even higher speed. What? He can go even faster than me at 10%, Deku thought in disbelief. Lighting surrounded Luck even more intensely. Deku activate One for All at 20%. Stop! Magnus suddenly interrupted. Deku and Luck both stopped. Aw, come on, we were just getting to the good part. Luck pouted. Deku let out a sigh of relief. That was intense. Luck was at least as fast as him at 20%. Which was crazy to think about. Good job, Broccoli Head. Magnus said as he handed Deku a black bull robe. It's Deku. You two are now officially members of the Black Bulls. Magnus said to the both of them with a smile on his face. Deku and Asta both smiled a proud smile. I'm now one step closer to becoming Wizard King, Asta thought to himself. I'm closer to figuring out a way home. Deku thought to himself. The bird resting on his head suddenly pecked him on the head. Oh. The Black Bulls started laughing. So those are the other two new members. A silver-haired girl said on top of the Black Bulls building. What a bunch of insects, she said with a slight scoff. This is the dining hall, Magnus said as he showed Deku and Asta around the Black Bulls base. Right after Deku and Asta had been brought into the Black Bulls, Magna had wanted to show them around. The building was surprisingly large. The dining hall could fit a large amount of people. The bathroom was comfortably big, though it wasn't very private. They even had a small dungeon room where Yami kept monsters, which confirmed Deku's suspicions of fantasy-like monsters in this world. And then, Magna suddenly stopped. Deku and Asta stopped as well. Right in front of them was silver-haired girl. She was taller than Asta and about the same height as Deku. So this is where you were. Magna spoke up. Hey, you two, meet the other new member. Magna said as he pointed at the silver-haired girl. Deku took a good look at her. Her silver hair gave Deku fantasy vibes. She looked to be around 16 years old, around his own age. She stared at Deku and Asta with her purple eyes. Her expression seemed stoic, or even like she was looking down on them. Though that wasn't something Deku wasn't used to. However, there was something about her that told Deku that she was a good person. Deku stepped forward and took a deep breath. It would be better to be confident in this situation. Deku stepped towards her. Hi, my name is Deku. I came from Hage Village. I look forward to being teammates with you. Deku said as he stretched his hand towards her. A handshake was common for those who view each other as equals. He didn't want her to think he was looking down on her after all. She suddenly slapped his hand away. Don't address me so casually, she said as she looked down on Deku. Little insect with your paltry magic. I am Noel Silva, a member of this country's royal family. Deku and Asta's jaw dropped to the ground. Our royalty? They thought in shock. Asta got out of his shocked state. Who's a little insect? Asta screamed out at Noel. Don't make fun of Deku. As knights we are on the same level. Royalty has got nothing to do with it, Asta yelled out. Deku nodded. He agreed with Asta. Everyone here was a knight. Royalty had nothing to do with it. That's right, Asta, you tell her. Deku and Magna said at the same time. Noel scoffed at them. It has everything to do with it, Noel said before sighing. I see that it will take more than words to make you foolish peasants understand. A blue aura wrapped itself around Noel's fingers. I'll have to let the differences in our magic powers convince you, she said as she pointed her magic at Asta. Only for it to curve and hit Deku. It drenched him in cold water. Deku blinked a couple of times. Man, what was that for? Deku asked in confusion. He could have swore she was aiming for Asta, and well, not him. It's your fault for just standing there. Who gave you permission to be there? She said, trying to taunt Deku. Deku let out a small sigh, before activating one for all at 10% throughout his body. He then ran away from them, running down a hallway. The other three blinked in confusion. They suddenly heard Deku running back towards them, with his clothes all dry. Magna turned towards Noel. What the hell was that for? I'm royalty. I don't need to answer your question. I don't care if you're royalty or the little sister of the captain of the Silver Eagles, Magna yelled out at her. Deku looked at them in confusion. Silver Eagles. That was one of the Magic Knight squads, Deku questioned to himself. Mr. Yami's the only guy who would take on a shrew like you, Magna yelled out. Show some gratitude, moron. That was a bit harsh, Deku thought to himself. She scoffed before walking away. I wouldn't be in this group if you paid me, Noel said as she walked away. Deku looked at her back as she walked away. Something was troubling her, that much Deku knew for sure. To Deku, it seemed like she was putting on a persona. Though who knew if Deku was right about that? Magna then turned towards Deku and Asta. He coughed into his hand. Anyways, I'll show y'all to your rooms, Magna said as he led them further down the hallway. Whoa, my own room, Asta said as tears fell down his face. Magna then led Deku to his own room. And here's your room, Magna said as he opened the door. It was a small room, big enough for one person, which is all Deku needed. Magna waved at Deku. Well, I gotta go make sure Luck isn't doing anything. Don't stay up too late, Broccoli Head, Magna said as he shut the door and ran down the hallway. Deku couldn't sleep. It had been a long day, and he still had plenty to think about. He had taken Magic Knight exams, passed it, and had met the Black Bulls all in one day. To say the least, it was very eventful. Sitting in this small home, however, made Deku realize he was homesick. He missed being able to talk to all his friends in his class. And now he might never see them again. Deku suddenly sat up. No, I can't think like that. I just gotta find a way, Deku said to himself. He looked outside and noticed it was starting to get dark. I still got time for some extra training, Deku thought to himself. He opened his window and jumped out. As soon as he landed, he heard some loud noises. Deku decided to go investigate. He turned a corner and saw Noel. She was surrounded by potholes that they most likely had created. But straight in front of her was a target. It was as though she was attempting to hit it, but she couldn't hit it. Why? Deku heard Noel say in despair. Why won't it go where I want it to? Noel asked in desperation. I couldn't have made a failure like you. Noel remembered her family's words to her. She can't even control her magic. Wretched thing. Look at that thin grimoire. Are you sure you're royalty? You're an embarrassment to our family. You're not needed for the Silver Eagles. You good for nothing. Noel clenched her fists in frustration. I will definitely make them acknowledge me, Noel thought to herself. She attempted to fire her magic at the target, but missed. And missed. And missed. Why? Why? Noel said as frustration as she suddenly shot out as much magic as she could. Deku's eyes widened as water engulfed Noel, and was shooting out huge spirals of water, destroying the ground. Noel sat in the middle of the hurricane, struggling to breathe. Deku's hero instincts immediately went off. Green electricity surrounded his body as he activated full cowl at 10%. The other Black Bulls noticed what was going on and ran outside. Deku knew he wasn't strong enough to destroy that water at his current level. In that case, green electricity surrounded two of his fingers at an even higher intensity. I gotta save her, Deku thought to himself as he jumped above the wave hurricane. Delaware. Smash. Deku called out as he used one for all at 100% to send a huge wind blast at the water hurricane. Boom. The water hurricane was immediately destroyed, freeing Noel. She then began falling to the ground. Crap, I gotta save her. Deku was in midair. Getting to her in this position would be nearly impossible. But He did have something he could use to save her. Deku closed his eyes and stretched his hand that had no broken fingers out. Black energy suddenly erupted from Deku's arm. Black whips. Deku used black whips to grab Noel before she could fall. But now Deku was falling. Crap! Deku prepared for the worst. Only to see a portal appear right below him. He and Noel both fell through. Spatial magic, fallen angel gate. Finral made Deku and Noel land right on the ground. Deku let out a deep breath. I'm alive. Deku then turned to Finral. Thank you for saving me. Deku then turned towards Noel. Hey. Deku called out to her. Noel twitched in response. You good for nothing. They're gonna make fun of me again. Noel thought to herself in disappointment. Are you okay? Deku asked in a sincere tone. You've got some awesome magic, water magic, right? Noel looked at Deku in surprise and nodded. Yao could probably make water dragon Orvan water armor anticipate. Yami then grabbed Deku's head. Shut up. Yami said in annoyance. If you can train until you master your magic, you'll be unstoppable. Deku said with a smile. If you'd like, I can help you. I know what it's like to have power you can't control. Deku offered. Noel let out a tiny blush. Magna walked over to Noel. What, you couldn't control your magic? That's it. You should have told us sooner, you royal failure. We're the Black Bulls, a whole group of failures. That little flaw of yours ain't a big deal, idiot. Magna said with a slight smirk. Noel felt tears at the end of her eyes. Here, Deku offered his hand to her. She grabbed it and Deku helped her up. Noel let out a small smile. Thank you. Very much. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your opinions in the comment section below. Share your theories, and stay tuned for the next part.